Alright, welcome back everyone. Dr. Ben, not a real doctor here. Today I'm super excited because I'm starting something I've actually wanted to do for quite a while. Just a few days ago I signed up for the Wim Hof method, the 10-week course, and I've been wanting to do this for a long time, but I've been putting it off for, I don't know, whatever reason, priorities, money, whatever. But I finally signed up with it, and today is day number 1 of week number 1. So I'm about to start the breathing exercises, and there's some stretches, and then obviously everybody knows about the cold shower thing. So I figured I would share this process with you and see what I think and see how things go. So let's get into day number 1. I'm about to start the breathing exercises right now. The subscription for week number 1 is 30 to 40 breaths. And the way the breaths work is you do a full inhale and then a relaxed exhale. So you're not forcing the air out of your lungs, you're just relaxing and let it come out. Now I ended up doing more than 30 to 40 breaths, I think pretty much every time that I did this. And that's because as you're doing these breaths, you're going to start feeling kind of buzzy, lightheaded, you'll have some tingling. And I found for me at 30 to 40 breaths, I really wasn't getting that much. So either I hadn't gotten a good hold on the technique, or I wasn't fully oxygenated. So I would go until I felt pretty buzzy and tingly. Now for the buzzing and tingling, I noticed that first in this round, that this is round 3 of day 1, that it built up the most in my forearms, hands, and fingers. And I also noticed that once I really got going, I started getting some involuntary muscle contractions there. Now at the end of your last breath, when you exhale right there, you're just going to hold your breath. So you're going to hold your breath on the exhale, not the inhale. That's different than what I was used to doing, and it creates a very interesting sensation when you start the breath hold. You have so much oxygen in your blood and tissues that your brain is kind of freaking out because it thinks it needs to take a breath, and you can kind of feel that in your chest, but you really don't. I noticed that at 30-45 seconds, I was just starting to get rid of some of that buzzy feeling, and it hung around the longest in my lips. My lips just pursed, and they just buzzed and kept doing this little micro contraction the entire time until the very end of the breath hold. So my first round was only about 40 seconds, which is why I started doing more breaths. I didn't feel like I was getting enough oxygen for the breath holds. And I pushed out the breaths a little longer. But this one, at the minute 30 mark, I was still feeling quite comfortable. I was really shocked at how much I'd improved between round 1, 2, and 3. And at this point, that buzzing is pretty much gone. It feels like a normal breath hold, just that you've already been doing it for quite a while. I used the timer, but I didn't want to pay too much attention to the timer because I mentally didn't want to turn this into a competition with myself to try and hold my breath longer each round and each day. I wanted it to be more based on the sensation and pay attention to the sensations, and then see what the time was at the end and compare how I felt through the breath hold compared to, round by round, day by day. And I just passed the 2-minute mark. I'll hold up my phone here in a second so you guys can see the timer. Now, as you're getting towards the end of your breath hold here, once you finally breathe in, you take one recovery breath, just one deep breath, and you hold it for 10 to 15 seconds right there. And this is just to reset your system. This is the last round for me, so I wouldn't start another round of deep breathing. But if this were round 1 or 2, after this recovery breath, I would go through and repeat this again. All right, so that was pretty crazy. That was 3 rounds. So round 1 was kind of like, it was like 30 seconds, 35 seconds maybe. So I don't think I oxygenated enough to start with. Round 2 was a little bit more what I expected. I have a lot of time swimming and being underwater, so I expected something around a minute 30. I think it came out to like 120 for round 2. Round 3 really surprised me. At a minute, I was still totally comfortable with the breath hold. And by a minute and 30, I was starting to kind of feel like I was running out of air. And I made it all the way to 2 minutes and 14 seconds on round 3, so holy So it's time for the part that everybody's familiar with, the cold shower. So week 1 is you take a warm shower, however hot you want, whatever your normal shower routine is, and then at the end of the shower you turn it down to cold for the last 30 seconds. So let's go see how that goes. I have tons of time in cold water from swimming and, time in SEAL training. So there's a little bit of a psychological cold water. So let's see how this feels compared to other times in cold waters after all the breathing exercises. Let's go. All right, so time for the cold shower. This shower head's a little screwy, so I'm gonna have to mess with it, but here goes. First cold shower in Colorado in winter. Woo! Probably the coldest shower I've ever taken. Oh my god. All right, so we're friends now. We just took a shower together. Let's chat about that real quick. So, like I said before, I have quite a bit of experience with cold water, and the normal reaction with cold water, is and there's kind of a system shock, and you can't breathe, and the water really, the only way to describe it is burns. It's like a strong stinging sensation. And my experience is usually like 15-20 seconds, that starts to subside and you kind of relax into it, and then it's not such a big deal. It's still not real pleasant, but it's not such a big deal. That water was real cold, probably some of the coldest water I've been in, and there was still kind of that reaction, but it was way more subdued than I'm used to. Normally it's a real struggle to take a breath, and this wasn't that intense this time. So I'm super interested to see how this changes over the course of the 10 weeks. This is just, again, week 1, day 1. But yeah, that was really cool. I feel really good from the breathing exercises. The water was really cold, but it wasn't as strong a reaction. So stoked to see how that improves. Anywho, I will keep you guys in the loop on how this thing's going, but day 1, week 1 in the bag. Now the trick is consistency, which is something I really struggle with. Anywho, if you liked the video, smash the thumbs up, share the video with your friends, and if you haven't already subscribed, please consider subscribing. If you guys have questions, things you want to see, hit me up in the comments down below. I'll include links for all like the Wim Hof stuff in the details. Till next time, keep your life in motion.